Good
right.
afternoon, everyone. This is Salathia here with Virtual Notary Tools, and I'm here today with Mr. Will Ussery of Exceptional Notary. And today I want to talk about notarization retention. And this topic caught my eye because I was reading the May 2020 edition of the National Notary Association magazine. And the specific article is titled Remote Online Notarization Nearing the Tipping Point is the title, basically. So if you have the May 2020 edition of the NNA magazine, then I encourage you to look at the article, Remote Online Notarization Nearing the Tipping Point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading the article, and it has a lot of great information. And one quote in the article made me give a little pause, and I will read it to you. Notaries benefit because of the additional security procedures used for RON. Instead of being stored in a briefcase or a file cabinet, the documents are encrypted and stored electronically. And these statements came from an executive at Sinex. And if you are familiar with the Sinex platform, you know that the notary becomes responsible for downloading their notarizations before 90 days is up because it is removed from the Sinex platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that? How is it still encrypted if I am responsible for removing the items within the 90-day period? Because after 90 days, they disappear. I don't know if Sinex keeps them, but they're no longer accessible by the notary. So I was like, well, the statement, is valid because it is on the Sinex platform for 90 days, but it kind of loses its validity once the notary becomes responsible for it. So I asked Mr. Will to join me today because I icon him as the tech for notaries. Will, how are you today?
I'm doing marvelous. Today is a nice Sunday. It's Father's Day, and I've got a few activities left before the end of the day, so things are going well.
Awesome. And happy Father's Day to Will and to all the fathers who will see this recording. So can I call you the tech for notaries? Is that accurate? Is that a little far-fetched? Did I miss the mark?
Well, when I started my notary public business, I looked around on Facebook and some other platforms to see what was out there from a technology standpoint. And I really came up short because I wanted to get some ideas on how to, facilitate using my business in a technical manner, noting that I've got a technical background, but I couldn't find enough information on the web. So I said, look, I've got a technical background. Why don't I try to start a Facebook group, put out some blog posts on what I think would be useful to other notary publics. And I think I started that in January, February of 2020. And I've got over 600 members. So I must be providing some kind of need out there. Whether or not it's good or not, I don't know yet. But just a little background on myself. I come from a technical background. I'm an X-ray technologist. That's how I made my money in about the first 25 years of my life. And in the last couple of years as being a radiology tech, I was tapped to be a project manager at a large hospital that I worked at to install a patient care information system, which included radiology, nuclear medicine, cardiology, and radiation oncology. And that project lasted about a year and a half. And that gave me the confidence to look around for other possibilities outside of my radiology technologist job. And approximately a couple months after we went live with that system at our hospital, I was approached by ACFA Healthcare, which is a large digital company in the healthcare arena, to see if I would be interested in being their project manager at Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. This was a new hospital that was being built from the ground up. They were going to purchase almost one of every item from ACFA Healthcare's product portfolio. So
Oh,
it
wow.
was a very large responsibility. And I learned so much from being part of that project. And it gave me the confidence to do larger projects with ACFA Healthcare. I stayed with ACFA for about 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And where I learned a lot about security is where I had to manage military projects, because as you know, the military is very stringent about security.
Yes.
And with that experience under my belt, I had to learn a lot about SSL certificate, AES encryption, locking down servers. You just name it. It was a whole gamut that gave me somewhat the expertise of knowing a little bit about what I'm talking about.
Right.
So that's some of my background. And that led me to say, I think I can start my own Facebook group and maybe help out some other notary publics who don't have the technical background that I have, but I may be able to add something to make their business a little bit more easy at the end of the year. That's what I'm looking for.
Woohoo. So it seems like I picked the right person to speak to today about this.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I am going to make sure I ask the correct questions so that we are fully transparent with the notaries who will hear this presentation. So I did mention the article that inspired this conversation. And just off the top of your head, if I am transferring from one system, does it automatically remain encrypted when I put it on the new system?
I would venture a guess that it would not be encrypted because, and I don't think you want it to be encrypted once it gets to your native platform, because each provider is probably going to have their own proprietary encryption model that they're going to use on their back-end servers. And that's fine as long as it meets security standards. But once you move outside of their platform, you're going to want your data in the native format of how it was created. And whether that be an MP4 file or an MKV file, you want to download those files in their native format and then encrypt those to either a new platform using whatever system they're using, or encrypt them on your own USB external drive or your own external hard drive, and maybe upload that data as a backup to the cloud. So that would be my preferred method of doing things. Either get it in its native format on your system and then encrypt the data to the second provider's native platform, or use your own off-the-shelf encryption tools, which are readily available, and you can encrypt the data using that method if you choose to do that.
So,
and I can go into a little bit more detail on other encryption options that you can use.
So go ahead and give us Notaries an encryption option we can use.
Well, the one I'm using right now, and I just need to preface it, I am not Ron capable right now. I live in California, so I have no Ron experience. So this is strictly hypothetical. But I use a system called ENCFS. It's called Encrypted File System. And it's an open domain encryption system that's been used for many, many years. You can download it on SourceForge, and I can provide Salathia with a link for how you can get to that. And the way it works is that you create a folder either in your cloud or on your personal hard drive or an external hard drive, and you create a folder on whatever device you're going to use it on. And once your folder is created, you copy files into that folder. It's actually, once you mount that folder, you copy files into what's called an encrypted volume. So it's better if I showed you, but what you will do is you would copy files into your encrypted folder, and once you close that volume down, those files are no longer accessible because the volume has been closed.
Oh.
It's a very simple system to use. You can use it on Linux, you can use it on Apple, you can use it on Windows-based computers, and there are even tools to use it on your Android and iOS phones. So it's really cross-platform. And maybe in a future video, I could show you how I use it.
Yes, I think we would love that, especially for any of the Ron notaries out there. That are performing the online notarizations, they need to know how to be able to save their notarizations and keep them encrypted, because it is their responsibility. I think when you become a virtual notary or online notary, there is much more added responsibility outside of keeping your journal. You have to keep up with your videos, and you're doing a lot of things online, so you want to make sure that maybe your email is secure, you know, those types of things, because we're dealing
Absolutely.
with people's sensitive information. But I do thank you so much for joining us today. And before we go, is there anything that you're working on that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I'm planning on, in the next several months, expanding my group into what I would call a platinum version of my group. I
All right.
haven't settled on what content it's going to be, but it's going to be video driven. I have over 30 blogs on my current exceptional notary group, and I plan on converting some of those into video blogs. I also plan on having guest speakers like yourself to come on once a month and help members answer some questions that they may not have been able to find by just going through some of the Facebook groups. So it's something that I'm working on. I haven't quite settled on an exact date yet, but I anticipate maybe sometime in August I'll have things ready to launch.
Well, definitely keep us in the loop. I'm excited, so I know other notaries will be excited as well, because you do provide a wealth of information in your group. And what's the name of your group again?
It's called Exceptional Notary Group.
Okay, and I'll definitely put a link to the group when I post this video, and so that folks can direct link over to Facebook and join your group. And do you have anything else you want to add
I
before we?
just wanted to wrap up the file system that I told you about earlier. It's called ENCFS, and then M as in Mary, P as in Paul. So ENCFS MP. If you'll do a search for that, you'll find the product on the internet, and there's several videos out there on how to set it up. But as I said, Salethia, if you need me to come back on and show people how to configure it, I'll be happy to do that.
Oh, well, we would love for you to do that, Will. And I do appreciate you taking time out on your Father's Day to speak to me about this and to help me wrap my brain around encryption and being responsible for my notarization files. I know that I have to do it, but I just wasn't sure how to do it. And I think that I'm not the only one. Right. So I want to say thank you, and I look forward to talking to you again.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.